The fluorescent lights hummed over aisle 9, and Tom set the box of cereal back on the shelf, without looking at his daughter's face. "Why are we so poor, Dad?" Mia asked it, the way kids ask anything, plain and curious, no edge to it, which somehow made it worse. He didn't answer right away. He picked up the store-brand version instead, $2 cheaper, and placed it in the cart like it might shatter. He'd done this math 100 times before she ever said it out loud. Milk or eggs, not both. Gas or groceries, not both. At home, the wedding ring he used to wear sat in a drawer. He hadn't opened in 8 months, sold in spirit if not yet in fact, because some nights he still reached for it before remembering. He ate dinner, standing at the counter, so Mia wouldn't notice his plate was smaller than hers. He told her the heat was off because it was warm outside, even in October. An older woman in a flour-dusted apron was crouched by the bread display, picking up loaves that had fallen. From a knocked-over crate, Tom bent down without thinking and started stacking them back, and that was the whole decision. Really minus not some grand choice, just hands moving before pride could stop them. "You're the first person who's helped me all week," she said, not looking up. "Everyone else just walks around the mess." She studied him for a second, too long. "You look like a man who knows what it's like to clean up something he didn't break." He almost laughed. Instead, he said, something like that. Her name was Ruth, and she ran the diner 2 blocks down, the one with the crooked open sign. She said she needed someone for mornings, dishes, and deliveries. Nothing fancy. He said he'd think about it, which both of them knew meant yes, because Mia was standing right there hoping in that quiet, terrible way. Children hope when they think no one's watching. He started, the next morning, at 5. Ruth didn't talk much. The first few days, just handed him towels and pointed at things. But on the 4th morning, scrubbing a pan that wouldn't come clean, she said, "My son used to stand right where you're standing." She kept her eyes on the coffee maker, before the accident. She didn't explain further, and Tom didn't ask, because he understood the kind of sentence that costs everything to say once and nothing, the second time. "My wife left when Mia was 2, he said, surprising himself. "Not died, left. People always assume died. Somehow that's easier for them to hear." Ruth turned then, really looked at him, and something passed between them that wasn't pity. It was recognition. "She still doesn't ask about her mother," he said. "I don't know if that's good, or if I broke something in her by being enough." "You didn't break her," Ruth said. "Look at how she watches you stack bread." He hadn't noticed Mia in the doorway, hadn't realized she'd followed him that morning. She was holding a single loaf against her chest, like it was something precious. The weeks folded into each other the way ordinary days do when something underneath them has shifted. Ruth taught Mia to crack eggs one-handed, and the first time she did it without shells in the bowl, she shrieked so loud customers laughed from the front booth. There was a Tuesday when the 3 of them ate burnt pancakes for dinner, because the griddle ran hot, and nobody minded, and Mia called it the best meal of her life, which made Ruth laugh until she had to sit down. There was a night Tom found Mia asleep at the diner counter with flour in her hair, and he carried her to the car the way he used to when she was small enough to fit against his chest, and for the first time in a year, the weight of her felt like something he could hold, not something he was failing to provide for. There was a Sunday Ruth showed him the framed photo behind the register, her son in a chef's coat, and said simply, "He'd have liked you," and Tom didn't know what to do with how much that meant. Mia started asking different questions, not "Why are we so poor?" She asked why Ruth's pancakes were better than his. She asked if Ruth could come to her school thing in May. She asked, one evening while they were closing up, voice small and sideways, the way important questions always come. Can people become family even if they didn't start that way? Tom looked at Ruth wiping down the counter, at the warm light over the register, at his daughter's flour-streaked hands, and he didn't have a clean answer, only a true one. "I think that's the only way it really happens," he said. Months later, they were back in that same grocery store, same aisle 9, cart fuller than it had been in years. Mia reached for the name brand cereal without hesitation, the good kind, and Tom let her keep it. She looked up at him, sunlight catching the dust in the air, and asked, "Dad, can Ruth come over Friday for game night?" He smiled and said, "Of course," and somewhere behind that ordinary, easy yes lived every hour he'd spent, standing at the counter eating less, so she'd never have to ask the other question again.